Welcome back to Bevvy Live. We are thrilled to be here at Caol Ila. No need for Monday blues today, because it is Fèis. We're at, for me, one of the most underrated distilleries on Islay, actually. Kind of slips under the radar for a lot of people.
Totally agree. We know it's a workhorse on the island, but we're at the visitor centre, which looks fantastic as well. It's obviously been recently done up. And we're going to try out their new Fèis Ìle release, which is going to be a ruby port 13-year-old.
Delicious.
Let's give it a go.
Here we go. Well, folks, what a thrill. We have stepped into a quiet area away from the busyness of Caol Ila Day at Fèis 2024. Thank you so much for having us here, Laura. Was it in the warehouses at the distillery?
Yeah, so this is our maturation warehouse at Caol Ila. This is where we do some of our experiences on a day-to-day basis.
Amazing. So for those who haven't visited the distillery, that haven't had the pleasure of meeting yourself, can you tell us what do you do here at Caol Ila?
So I am the assistant retail manager here at Caol Ila, and I've been here for the last 2 years. Okay. So started off when we opened the visitor centre in 2022, and then started off as a lead guide, and then became retail assistant manager.
And you are from Islay as well?
I am, yeah.
So that adds that bit of authenticity, you know?
Yeah, I feel like obviously we've met a lot of people at distilleries, and it's the ones who have worked their way up from being a tour guide or even working in production. They're the ones who have, you know, whiskey in their blood. Maybe not literally, but they've been there on the front line and they know it, and they know it inside out. So it's great to have you here.
If people haven't been to Caol Ila before, I mean, obviously, as you mentioned, reopening in 2022, it's been a real facelift for the distillery.
Absolutely.
Now, kind of one of the corners of Johnnie Walker. So it's a fantastic experience, not only as the single malt distillery, and we're going to celebrate a bit of Caol Ila today, but also how important Caol Ila is to the whiskey industry. And that, because this is a key malt that goes into Johnnie Walker, and that's introducing people into Scotch whiskey all over the world.
Yeah.
But we're here on Fèis. We're here on Fèis Ìle.
Yeah.
You know, this is how special is this? So we do have a special release. We've snuck away from the crowds.
Yeah, I think Caol Ila as a brand probably isn't for, you know, obviously we've got an audience, you know, all across the world. People are probably going to be familiar with your Botmores and Lagavulins. Caol Ila is probably kind of lesser known, but it's a major player on the island in terms of output each year. It's millions and millions of litres.
So we're the largest producer on the island, but obviously with the connection with Johnnie Walker, a lot of it does go to blends.
So there's so many more people that have probably already tasted Caol Ila in some form and not aware of it. And now we're going to celebrate one of your single malts today. So the Fèis Ìle 2024 release. So tell us a little bit about the liquid we've got today.
So this year we've got a 13-year-old that is an ex-ruby port French oak cask finish from the Douro Valley in Portugal. It's 54.5% ABV.
Nice and generous as well.
Wonderful.
You've got that natural colouring from the ruby port.
Perfect. And Caol Ila's sort of character in general, obviously we're on Islay, which is famous for peated smoky whiskey. Does Caol Ila sort of fit into that? Is it at the extreme end of the spectrum? Is it more lightly peated?
I would say it's more light. They do say Caol Ila's a good introductory malt into the Islay whiskies because it's got a lovely sweet smoky balance with a wee bit of saltiness in there. So it's a lovely dram.
Nice. And we should get some sweetness from the port as well. I'll let you crack it open and pour it for us. We'll get a measure for you.
Caol Ila is one of those whiskies where
we've tried a lot of Caol Ila and lots of different
you see it a lot in sort of independent bottlings, so you know the likes of Gordon MacPhail or Cadenheads or whatever who are lucky enough to source cask of Caol Ila at some point in the history and bottle it, but it's just always an excellent malt.
Well, speaking about Caol Ila, I often refer to it as quite an oily spirit. And so looking for a texture, and you know how much I enjoy texture in whiskey, so we're looking for an interesting port influence here. You see it on the colour straight away.
Absolutely.
And
natural colour.
And it's a good age as well. Obviously, on this trip here for the festival, we've tried a lot of different types of smoky whiskey. Some have been quite old, some have been quite young. The smokiness in a whiskey with age does sort of fade away as well. So this one at 13 years old, for me, it's that nice balance where it's had enough that you lose that harshness and that spiritiness. But it doesn't become too oaky, too mellow. It's not too dominated by
we're still going to get that traditional Islay peat. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thanks so much for having us, Laura.
That's all right, not at all. Thanks for coming.
I don't think I've ever had Caol Ila in port before, so this should be quite interesting.
I've
had the Distillers Edition before, which is the Moscatel. So obviously that brings some sweetness. So I'm hoping to try and draw some comparisons there as well.
Absolutely.
I'd say straight away, you don't get much of alcohol burn on the nose at all.
No.
Considering we're getting a dram that's presented at a higher strength, really interesting because you don't see that on the nose straight away.
It's got I always find Caol Ila's got such a sort of vivid aroma. I always get almost like streaky bacon or smoky barbecue sauce, and I think with the port just accentuates that smoke and sweet.
Absolutely.
It's really, really
Let's
lovely.
have a little taste, see what we think. I think it's a distillery that, first and foremost, there'll be a lot of people that have drank it and not know how to pronounce it, so Caol Ila.
Yeah, it's not easy.
It isn't. And it means the sound of Islay as well. So it's one of these, it's such a big brand and it's so important to Scotch whiskies, but getting to try a unique release like this is quite special. How's the palate for you, Laurie?
Really, really good. Full of flavour, a nice sort of lingering finish, and it's, I think it's been great to see the last few years Caol Ila sort of emerging as a brand in its own right.
Absolutely.
As we mentioned, it's had the refurb, it's now part of the sort of Johnnie Walker Corners thing. In terms of today at Fèis, I understand there's some sort of masterclasses and tastings, experiences.
So we've got lots of experiences on today that range from meeting our new distillery manager, Eva Cumming. We've also got a flavour and history experience with one of our master blenders, who is based on the mainland, but they're over especially for today to do an experience, a blending experience. We've got a lovely mindfulness experience that combines mindfulness with our lovely Caol Ila drams, with our neighbour at Perspus Pottery, Rosemary Fletcher. And again, a good connection there because she was the one that designed our Johnnie Walker Stroud Man for our reopening. So lovely connection there. And then we've also got another local business, Islay Cocoa, who's going to be doing a lovely chocolate and whisky tasting.
Excellent.
So,
that's what
plenty
it's
to
all,
talk
what it's all about.
Yeah.
Fèis Ìle is all about celebrating the island, and it's not an easy place to get to.
No.
We've said this in a few different of the days of the festival. But if you come and you make the effort and you try something special, you're going to meet the locals like yourself who are so proud of the product and so proud of the island. And I think this is a dram to be proud of as well. The texture for me is massive. Obviously, I expected it with the Caol Ila spirit. The port is a good influence. Honestly, the peat isn't the overbearing factor on the palate. It's a really nice, chewy, fruity, kind of towards dark fruits.
I do feel like everything's sort of nicely in proportion as well. As I say, the age helps. And particularly in this, in 2024, you see a lot of younger whiskies because casks are expensive, corks are expensive, everything's expensive. So to have a whiskey that spent, a decent, such a good amount of time in good quality casks as well is really paid off.
It drinks so well at the strength. Honestly, it's one of those things that we're grateful to get to try whiskey at a higher proof, but I honestly think that it's a compliment to the spirit. Normally, I add a lot of water to my whiskey generally, but I don't feel the need here actually. I think it's a really, really nice balance to it.
It's a lovely smooth dram,
Obviously, you've been here a while, you know the Caol Ila character, the spirit. Is this sort of typical with the range? Are there any favourites that you've got?
My personal favourite is probably our fill your own bottle that's in our shop. We're on the third batch of that at the moment, and it's in first fill ex bourbon casks. So it's a really nice dram. It's been really popular. We've got that as part of the tour drams as well. So it has been a really popular one.
Yeah, I think these fill your own bottles. It's such a great part of any visit to a distillery.
It's a reason to come.
Because people want a souvenir, they want a memento. Obviously doing different things with Bevvy, whether it's festivals or whatever, people want like a bottle's more than just the liquid in there. They want it to remind them of an experience, they want it to share it with friends and tell them about the visit. And fill your own is perfect.
This is it. You can get single cask whiskey, but the idea of getting a hand fill or fill your own, going to a distillery, and it will only be available for a couple of months. So really, if you're on holiday or you're visiting for the first time, it is a memory to take home. This has been a belter of a dram. Honestly, I don't think the port is overbearing, but I think it gives it a really nice body. It's still Caol Ila DNA got through.
Absolutely. The character shines through in it, really.
And it's a little easier to drink than I thought it was going to be, looking at the label, truth be told. So what a pleasure to share it with you, and thanks for taking us away from the crowd. And let's go out and have some more fun.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks so much. Well, folks, that is a wrap for Manic Monday at Fèis Ìle 2024. We've had a great time here at Caol Ila, at a stunning dram as well. 13 years old, huge amount of port influence, a really tasty whiskey for me.
Yeah, it took me by surprise. Again, we're saying how lucky we are to be able to sneak away and speak to Laura. Again, with a local, trying the special release, it says so much. For me, it was almost like a smoky Turkish delight, which I've never ever had in a whiskey before. Tomorrow, I'm a little bit nervous. Tomorrow, we're going to do Laphroaig. So make sure you tune into the video tomorrow, and also let us know in the comments what you think about Caol Ila, and please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the video tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll catch you then.
See you there.